Most Kenyans who comment very authoritatively about Kenyan politics have never been involved in any political campaign in the country called Kenya. And so what we're dealing with here are ignorant people who are selling theories. Textbook theories that perhaps apply in other jurisdictions, other countries, most probably advanced Western countries. But those theories don't apply to Kenya. And sadly, some of these people call themselves political analysts. And even TV stations introduce them as such. Yeah, we welcome our political analyst. How many campaigns has that person been involved in? Have they ever been on the ground as a candidate is campaigning? Do they know what voters in the village expect from somebody seeking a political office? Do they know how important this transaction, because that's what I can call it, do they know how important this transaction is in the electioneering process? You know, there are some things you cannot look up in a book. You cannot go online and do your research and get that information easily. You have to have been on the ground to see it for yourself, to understand it. In this video, it'll be just like you've gone to the ground and you've seen for yourself exactly what happens during the electioneering period. And it is important for anybody who wants to totally understand the way the game of politics, if you can call it a game, is played in the country called Kenya. Karibu sana. And even as you discover unbelievable, very shocking things you may not have known before, enjoy.
Kwa sababu nimesacrifice maisha yangu kwa ajili ya Watanzania maskini.
Let us be very, very honest with ourselves. What will take place in August 2022 will be a transaction. A transaction between the people of Kenya and whoever they finally elect. In the mind of the Mheshimiwa you elect, he will be up there and you will be down there. He will be the boss, and that will be final. You must respect them and toe the line. And really it doesn't matter which political seat we're talking about. Member of Parliament, Senator, even President. Yes, they will give their beautiful speeches regularly, including words like, I am a servant of the people, I will serve the people of this place or that place, etc., etc. But the truth, the reality, is that they will give you development when they feel like. They will implement projects they promised you when they feel like. And it is possible they will not feel like doing anything until the end of their term or until the next elections approach. And throughout their term in office, their major agenda will be to make back the money they spend on their campaigns, the money they dished out to you, the money they used to buy unga, which you lined up to receive, so that you voted for them. Oh yes, it was definitely not free. You didn't elect them for free. They paid you, or they paid your relatives. This thing is a transaction and nothing else. Now, even the voter has major issues. If you're not known to have money and you decide today to go back to your rural constituency and you tell the people, I intend to vie for this parliamentary seat, do you know the first question they'll ask you? They'll ask you, do you have money? Of course, money to give them, money to dish out so that they elect you. Bottom line, that transaction will end after 9th of August, 2022. And that is the truth. That is what Kenyan politics is all about. So, why should you complain if your member of parliament is not delivering? After all, you were paid. You've already been paid. And because they spend huge sums of money getting elected, they have to earn that money back. And if you think that they will do this from their salary during the 5 years they'll be in office, you should have your head examined. Their salary during those 5 years is a mere fraction of what they spent. So, how will they get their money back? Plus profits. Corruption, of course. Isn't that obvious? And since 2013, we have a new political office that is a crazy money-making machine. The office of the governor of a county. You see, a governor has executive power, which no other political office has, apart from that of the President of the Republic of Kenya. What is executive power? Think of the managing director of a company, maybe the company you work for. They sign checks, they make decisions, and of course their decisions are final. But there's one major difference between the executive in a private company and the executive, the man who has executive powers, in a county. The one in a company has to report to the board, is answerable to shareholders, is answerable to the owners of the company. They must produce a profit. If they decide to steal from the company, shauri yao, they'll be out in the streets sooner rather than later. However, the executive of a county reports to nobody. They answer to nobody. Actually, they're supposed to be accountable to their constituents, the people who elected them. However, as we have already seen, they have already paid you. And in return, they received a blank check to do what they want when they feel like doing it. Because the money they spent getting elected, they must earn back. They must get that money back, plus profits. That is the brutal reality of the situation. So why should people complain when their leaders don't perform? You are paid. Why on earth should you expect your governor to perform? You are paid. You did not elect him or her for free. They paid you. Now, the IEBC has been trying to put a cap on spending during campaigns. And this has, of course, been very strongly resisted by the political class. And it is hardly surprising, based on what we have discussed already. Because the voters expect something. before they can vote for you. That is the truth. And that is why it is laughable when Kenyans start discussing corruption and how corruption must end and how they must bring their leaders to account. And then during the electioneering period, during the campaign period, they're expecting money. In fact, now many Kenyans are rubbing their hands in glee because they know that during this period, they will make money. In every village, every constituency, there are those people who go into hibernation for 5 years and then they emerge when the campaigns start because they know they're going to make a lot of money and they know exactly how to do it. Yeah, because they're in charge, for instance, of distributing handouts to voters from politicians. And of course, if a politician gives them 100,000 to distribute, you'll be very lucky if 20,000 is distributed. That's how this game is played. What happens to the rest of the money? They pocket it. Bottom line, the voters are corrupt. So how do you expect the leaders, the elect, not to be corrupt? How? But there's something here very important to note. In this transaction between the voter and the person elected, there is one party that gets a very raw deal. Actually, they're conned. In other words, they don't benefit as much as the person they elect. Because the voter at the end of the day only receives a pittance. Yeah, 1,000 shillings here or there, unga, etc., etc. And some are even happy just to get alcohol. Yeah, as long as the candidate keeps them drunk during the electioneering period, they're good to go. How sad. And in return, they give somebody a blank check. Yeah. As we go into the campaigns proper for August 2022, Kenyan voters need to sit down and think very hard, yeah, and make a decision as to what they want. Otherwise, nothing will change. Otherwise, it will be very annoying when after a few months you hear people start complaining about the person who paid them so that they can elect them not performing. Does that make sense to you? Now, there's another video I've done on this channel that focuses on the evil things that people do in Kenya to get elected. If you want to understand completely how politics in Kenya works, I strongly recommend that you take in this video. And there should be a link on the top right-hand corner of your screens right now. Yeah, click on it and take in that video. The same link is also repeated in the description area below for the sake of those who have mobile devices. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.